it's not often that you can get Republicans on board to support good functioning of government. So this is a big win for the workers of the Postal Service and the people that rely on it if it passes.
Which side are you on? Which side are you on?
Early in February, the U.S. House of Representatives passed the Postal Service Reform Act by an amazing 342 to 92 in the U.S. House of Representatives. That is crazy.
It's amazing to see anything
Yeah.
come out of Congress.
That's good and bipartisan. Most of the things are either
bipartisan.
is usually bad.
To borrow from George Carlin, usually means you're getting screwed harder than normal.
Yeah.
It is quite shocking in a pleasant way to see Congress moving on something in a positive direction.
Among other things, the bill will mandate 6-day delivery, which DeJoy had sought to pull back, which would have further weakened the ability of the Postal Service to perform. It will repeal the mandatory pre-funding of retiree health care, which was a requirement placed on the agency in a 2006 law that forced the agency to pre-fund retiree health care 75 years in the bank. They had to 75 years in advance. They had to have the money for retiree health care 75 years in the future. They had to have the money for the health care of retirees that are not even born yet.
And let's just be clear why that was done is to penalize the Postal Service.
Right.
And, that goes back to our discussions on privatization and the ways in which folks will sabotage public services in the public sector and then say, hey, look at this mess we made. We told you this thing was broken.
Right.
Now we need to privatize it to fix it.
Every time you hear that the Postal Service is running a deficit, know that like 90-something% of the deficit is because of that healthcare pre-funding mandate. That's it. If they didn't have to have this, which no other federal agency and no other private company has to do because it's ridiculous, if they didn't have that, they would be operating in it. They would not be operating at a deficit, which operating at a deficit in and of itself for a government agency is not an issue. Like we did not create the Postal Service to make a profit. We created the Postal Service to connect people and to have an easy way for people to communicate, and it still serves a very important function. So, it moves to the Senate now, where, according to Politico, it also enjoys bipartisan support. So I'm getting very hopeful, and I'm almost worried that I'm so hopeful because it's not often that you can get Republicans on board to support good functioning of government. So this is a big win for the workers of the Postal Service and the people that rely on it if it passes. President Frederick Rolando of the National Association of Letter Carriers called the passage a huge victory for the American people who rely on the Postal Service for affordable and high-quality universal service. So hopefully we see that pass in the Senate and something good happens.
Yeah, and I hope it's the foundation for more progress, because I know Bernie Sanders and many others over the years have long advocated for savings accounts at the Postal Service. And as a way to really kill two birds with one stone, it would support the Postal Service by expanding its services. And of course, that means it's more likely to stay, especially in rural areas where they have shut down so many post offices. And at the same time, give low-income folks and other folks an easy, reliable way to get into banking in a way that's not meant to fleece folks.
Yeah.
Which, of course, is one of the main reasons it hasn't happened yet, because it's not a means to exploit folks. It's just a means to serve the public.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm with you on that. I'm cautiously optimistic. Glad to see it. Hope we see more of it.
Support for this program comes from the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, Local 136, out of Central Alabama. Learn more at IBEW136.org.